I was denied US visa 2 times after 8 different prophets who don't know each other prophesied to me that it was going to work. I should apply. The Lord will give me victory. I shared my story on my TikTok and here and Instagram. I had a lot of comments. I believe that I didn't explain like I should. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the questions I was asked. I'm going to talk about how I also got my fees discounted. So eventually I had to pay about $900 a year, even though I didn't get the visa. And I also had something called the graduate assistantship, which was going to pay me $2,000 a month. Let's get into it. After I shared my video, I had people say things like, why would you live your life based on prophecy? Because if you don't know, I resigned from my job. I sold my car very cheap because I knew that I was traveling to the US. I invested a lot of money in preparing to leave the country, which eventually didn't happen. And I had severe PTSD because I couldn't deal with looking at a white man without remembering the trauma I experienced in Sierra Leone. I started dating someone who lives in the US, a beautiful gentleman, right? It was like I had to come and meet him so that this relationship would be proper because we were dating over the phone. We had never met each other. I also wanted to do my master's, so it made sense that with all these things in sight, it's a full picture. Another reason why I wanted to go to the US was because I was a little embarrassed because I was going to get married and it didn't happen. If you've not seen any of my 2 previous videos, I think this is where you pause and you go and watch them. So it didn't work out. I was very embarrassed that all my days, like there were people, I felt like people were talking about me. It might have not even been the case, but that's how I felt. I just wanted a break. I just wanted to leave the scene, at least for a year or 2. I applied, I didn't get a date, and I felt like it was getting too close to the date. So a friend of mine had gone to Sierra Leone and she had gotten it. So I was like, oh, maybe that's it. And she told me that, oh, people are getting it in Sierra Leone. It's actually easier to get it in Sierra Leone than in Ghana, which I later found that is sort of true. I don't know. It's just that the people that I know who went through that route eventually got it. I was the only one who didn't get it. I had to take my COVID shots, and with my COVID shots, I had taken the first one, and the airline told me that they won't agree for me to travel without the second shot. So I had to take it at the airport. And I think I was reacting badly because I hadn't eaten for 2 days. In Sierra Leone, when you get off the plane, to go into the country properly, you'd have to get on something called the sea coach. So the sea coach is like a boat, something like that. That's going to take you to the other side of the country. So after, I don't know if I was seasick or something, I was very nauseous. I eventually ended up puking on this keke driver. And I felt that, hey, have my house people followed me to this place? But I felt like, no, that is why I'm fasting. So I was like, no, I'll keep praying. It was quite an embarrassing scene. I got to the hotel like a day before the proper interview because I didn't want any stories that touch. Before I left Ghana, I was packing my things. And I heard in my ear, I see someone was standing behind me saying, suffer not a witch to live. And see, I'm one of the people that's never ever believed in these things, like these juju witch things. I was not a very spiritual person. Listen, I was born in the church. I was doing religion with Christ till I had my heart break. Then I started taking God seriously. But when I heard it, I turned around to see if, and I was very shocked because I was like, did I hear suffer not a witch to live? So when I was going, I was like, hey, is God trying to say that there's witchcraft? So I just started praying because I didn't even understand what this meant. Years later, I got to understand who the witch was. But that's a story for another day. In fact, if you've listened to me so far and you haven't subscribed, this is when you subscribe. Kindly subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends, and God will bless you. When I puked in the keke, I was just thinking about it, right? So the day of the interview came, I prayed all night, Lord, have mercy. Oh God, open a way. When I got to the embassy, I was told that my name is not on the list of people who are supposed to be interviewed for that day. So I could go and reapply. I was like, hold on. Like, what are you trying to say? So I thought that maybe this is what the witch, someone else the witch to live is trying to point at. So I should break. So I was praying in my mind, oh God. So I had a long conversation. Everyone I had come there with for the 8:45 meeting had gone in. I was the only one outside because I didn't have an appointment. So I had to check, find my receipts, Very stressful, anxiety-producing situation. So I went in. Eventually, I was like, God has given me victory. Let the saints praise the Lord. When I went in, I've already, if you've watched my video, I've already spoken a little about that. It's a very tensious, for lack of a better word, a tensious situation in there. Before I got into Sierra Leone, I met some two Ghanaians at the airport who also said they were coming to apply for this. So I took their numbers. And the first one had gone the day before me. He was asked what job does her sponsor do. Her sponsor was her uncle, and her uncle owns cattle in the north. She said over 100 and something cattle. You have to expand and expatiate and elongate in order for them to believe that you can actually pay the fees that you are showing, that so that it won't be like when you go there you won't come back because you're going to work instead of school or do the exact thing that you claim you are going to do. I also met another Ghanaian at the entrance. He said that he was going to school and that he also had an X-ray. So in my mind, I was like, you are going to school, why are you holding an X-ray? And he's like, hey, I should forget. If he's giving the school excuse and it doesn't work, he will just say that he has a back issue. So this is his spine, and he will show the X-ray and he will explain it, and he tell them that when he gets to the US, he also wants to work on his back. In my mind, like, is this guy serious? But I don't know what to work and what to not work. So I didn't even bother to explain. He had the Ghana flag lapel pin on his shirt, and he had a kente tie. And I was like, what? Well, I was focusing on me. And there was another guy who I explained that he told me he had applied 15 times. There were 3 Ghanaians I met there at the embassy. There was a pastor who said he had been invited to preach in the US. So he couldn't, like, he's heard that they're giving the visa in Sierra Leone. So he's also come to Sierra Leone. He eventually got it. In fact, that day he went with his, the cassock and everything. So this other guy who said he's back and he's going to school, he has to work on his back because his spine is broke or something. Some funny story like that. Even me, I knew that. Anyway, the third person was a man who said he sells jeans in Edu. He has applied 15 times, and every time he's applied, he's been bounced. But he's also heard that in Sierra Leone, they are giving US visas. So he's come there. So in my mind, none of these guys will get it. Because the stories they were telling, because I had felt that, US visa, they don't give it just like that. But guess what? The guy who had applied 15 times eventually got it, because he explained to them that he says he wants to go and bring proper jeans from the US, and he had money in his account to prove that he has a thriving business. He also had his business registration documents to prove that he's like a proper business guy. He's not someone who is going there to see if it will work, life will work out. No. I don't think that guy was planning on coming back. But hey, his story sold, and that's all that you need, especially in these interviews. People were saying, in my comment section, someone said, because I had said that I had anticipated the questions, I had my answers to it, and someone commented that if you already have your answers and you know you're not lying, why will you memorize the answers? Listen, this is very important, because you see, as I mentioned, it's an anxiety-producing atmosphere. So, and when you're anxious, you can go blank. So at least if you know some of the questions that you've practiced, then you know what comes after what comes after what, at least you wouldn't fumble the words, because you don't even get a proper minute. Well, some people can get a proper minute. Other people will not even get 1 whole minute. Sometimes you can get 2-3 minutes. Sometimes 5 minutes, 6 minutes. But it depends on how convincing you are and how much of your time it is to go to Abuchi. Yes, I know there's a place where it's not working out. But I've also felt that most times people who go abroad at the time that they're supposed to, they understand and appreciate why God didn't allow them to go earlier. This is could be a word for someone out there. Sometimes you feel that you've applied. I read a couple of comments under my my post, and people are like, I've applied 5 times. Someone even said that she's applied 8 times. Someone said that I've applied 2 times and I've been bounced, but I'm from a home. Yes, I know that sometimes it can get very stressful because you want it to work, or you feel that when you get abroad, everything will work out. It's not always the case. Let me tell you, there are people who are far more depressed. Let me just veer off a little. When I came to this country, because I was going to be here for a very long time, I knew that I better check. So when I came here, I wasn't happy. I'm not even gonna lie. I wasn't happy. I felt like I had left so much in Ghana. I wasn't excited about this abroad anymore because all of a sudden, the reason why I actually wanted to leave Ghana was because of all the things I had mentioned earlier. So now all these reasons why I wanted to travel were no longer valid. So it's like I felt like I had to start life over again. I was scared to drive. We were in London for a while and then we moved to Scotland. Scotland is like the countryside. It's where life is taking slower. London is like go, 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 go. I came and I was like, there's something missing. Like I felt like, oh no, like me, I used to go to Pejasi on Sundays to go and eat fufu, go for live bands, chill and enjoy life. I used to, like, I was taking life easy. I felt like I had control over things in Ghana, but suddenly I'm in a totally different country. And I'm like, what's going on? I can't even drive because the roads are narrow and you have to drive on the other side. Listen, I drove for a while. I was so scared. I got into some, I won't say depression, but I was just not happy. The Bible said, trust the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge the Lord and He will direct your path. I believe that the time that we came to this country was the exact time that we had to come to this country. So I felt, so even though there were things that were happening, things that were happening around me, I still felt that deep-rooted conviction that told me that everything is going to be fine. So just imagine I had come in a time that I wasn't supposed to come. When I say that, I mean that if I had gone to the US to meet this guy that I hadn't ever met physically, but we had already planned on getting married and everything, I would have been shocked. And you see, shock is not a good thing when it comes to living your life and moving to another country. Again, I would have had a lot of regrets and, oh my God, why did you allow this to happen? So sometimes when things are not happening and you believe that you have trusted the Lord with all your heart, you can trust God that He is still leading you. Then you can rest in the boat because you know that Jesus Christ is in the boat with you as well. So I finally got inside. I was a bit anxious because of everything that had happened at the entrance, right? So I sat down. The person I sat next to, hey, she's anxious. You could literally see her heart beating on her skin, like the way she was even moving. So I was like, hey God. Anyway, the first person that went was a couple. They claimed that they were going for a wedding and they were giving very flimsy excuses. So I was like, no, these guys don't get a visa. But they asked them where the person lives, and they also asked how much they plan to travel with, and they asked them what jobs they do. Next thing, I saw them smiling. They're like, oh, they can pick up their their passports on Wednesday. So I was like, oh God, not bad. The next person that went was a Hajia. I knew she was a Hajia because she has like the golden teeth and everything. She couldn't even speak proper English, so they had to, I think, bring an interpreter to listen to it. So I was like, oh no, this woman won't get it. Guess what? She got it because I think she had the money in her account to show. She was about, if I would guess, I'll say about 60, 65-ish. She got it. So I was like, okay, today seems like a good day. It's like only one counselor was working at the time. So the next person that went was the gentleman who said he sells jeans in Edu. So he went and he was explaining that. So they asked him if he had visited any other country before. He said no, and he had applied 15 times. He was explaining why. The next thing they asked him was if he could show how much he has in his account, and does he have plans on coming back to returning to his home country, which is Ghana. And he was like, oh, of course, he will go back because he has a business. So I was like, nah, this guy, he's applied 15 times. Why would they give it to him? Guess what? They said, oh, he can pick up his passport on Wednesday. So I was like, oh, this looks like a good day. It looks like a good day. The next person that went was a Ghanaian. The Ghanaian that I had met at the entrance, who claims that if the school excuse doesn't work, he will use his back, that he's going to seek medical attention. So he went there, they called him and he stood in the booth. They asked him what school he's going to, who is sponsoring his education. And I don't know if he suspected that he might be denied. The next thing I saw him pulling out the x-ray from his brown envelope. So the consulate just paused and asked him, what is that for? What's that for? And he said, oh, his back has an issue, and when he gets to the US, he has plans on receiving or seeking medical attention. And the consulate just said, no, he has to choose one. And he said, I think he was about to explain, and then the consulate just pulled that sheet that he was like, oh, if you have any concerns, if you feel like you've been treated unfairly, you can appeal, but for now you have been denied, we cannot give you the visa today. This guy got furious. He was like, but you asked me to explain. I'm explaining. Let me show you. Even my uncle is the one sponsoring me. He has so and so amount in his. So he was trying to explain. He was trying to, he was shuffling through his sheets, his envelope, his file, trying to find things to prove. And then the consular just gave signals to the security man at the entrance. Nonsense is about to happen. That's how the security man came and said, gentlemen, let's go outside. He said, no, leave me. I was like, And mind you, he's wearing the lapel pin and the Ghanaian tie, which shows that he's a full Ghanaian. And I was like, I hope this guy has not gone to spoil my market for me. This guy will not agree to go outside. He said at least the consular should have allowed him to explain why. He cannot just decide to deny him a visa for US. So that was how they called two other security men from the entrance to come and help escort this gentleman out. That was how they were holding him by his belt. So there was a bit of commotion, and it was even more pressure and tension in the atmosphere. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Guess who they called next? Me. When I was going, I was like, oh God, show up for your people. Nobody will trust you. You can never be disgraced. See, I got there. He didn't show any sign of anger or, So I was just like, I was taking deep breaths. When I was walking, I blew air on my thumbs because I was told that, I read somewhere that when you do that, it takes anxiety away. It didn't work. It was too much for me. It was like everyone there was a bit thrown off. I was on the edge. So I went in there. I went to stand in the booth. I tried to smile. I tried to show because they can read body language. I tried to show that I wasn't bothered, And so he asked me, what am I going to do in the US? And I told him I'm going to school to pursue my master's. Next question, what course am I going to read? And I told him the course. And I was asked again why did I choose the US? And I said, oh, the US is known for one of the best places to learn digital marketing with AI, da. I said all my things. Next question, he was like, so do you plan on going back? I said, absolutely. I chose the US, in fact, to pursue my master's because I know that certificates from the US are of slightly higher value in Ghana, which was to give the vibe that I was going to return. So he asked me to show my bank statements, which I showed, which was to prove that because I had already gotten graduate assistantship, which was supposed to reduce my year tuition to $900, from $31,500 to $900 per year. And I'd also, that graduate assistantship was also supposed to pay me $2,000 a month, which also gave the vibe that I was okay financially. And I had the bank statement to also prove that in case even that does not work, which is rare, I will still be able to pay. So I showed him my bank statements just to show that I could afford it. Next thing, he just looked at me and smiled. Very wicked smile. And I was like, oh, I got it in my mind. I was like, oh, Charlie, I was doing my calculations when I'll travel. This man just said, oh, I'm sorry, I can't give you the visa today. If you have any concerns, you can apply again. All of a sudden, I was cold. I was cold. I was working out. My heart was beating fast. I was like, no, this guy, there should be a mistake somewhere because he looked very happy with the kind of answers I gave. So what went wrong? So I was thinking that now, maybe it's, I don't know if I should think that it's a prank or what. I was working. I was like, nah, this guy will call me back and say that. Because I was still trying to keep my faith level high. And the security man just opened the door for me and I went outside. When I was like, oh my days, this is actually happening. I've been denied the visa. So I got outside finally. And I met the guy that they had to pull outside by his trouser. And I said, Ako, I don't know where you're sao. And no say, Cassie, when you say I'm from mommy. Oh no, he said the next thing was, and son of what I'm saying, son of what you're saying, you're denying with visa. Is that way you will come and fight? If you fight or you explain, you beg or you cry, nothing is going to change. So why would you do that? And he said, oh, the way they treated him wasn't nice. He should at least look at his documents because he has money in the accounts. He has this guy, he doesn't know how this works or what. I was furious. I just got another ticket to my house, to the hotel. I had booked the hotel for 6 days or a week so that when I get the visa, I'll just go and pick it up because I didn't know how long it was going to, because I need my passport to be able to even travel back outside that country. So I now started thinking about how much money I wasted because they don't do refunds. I was sitting down just asking God questions like, God, why? You showed me this. I had to call someone in Ghana to change my ticket and everything to the next day. But listen, the Bible said, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, plans to bring you to an expected end. The Bible also says that anyone who trusts in me will never ever be disgraced. The Bible says that it may seem slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place, it will not be delayed. Sometimes we feel that the things that we are going through is a delay based on whose timing. And people say that I wasted all that money. I could have used that money to start a business in Ghana. Someone said you spent $4,000, you could have done this. Listen, the reason why I'm sitting here talking to you and even giving you hope is because I wasted such and such amounts. If my $4,000, $5,000, $7,000 is going to cost other people, hundreds of people who will watch my videos, hope to know that things will work out in the end, then to God it's worth more. God does not waste pain. Anything you're going through, God has a plan for it. If only you see it through his eyes. I believe that I did not waste any of those currencies. When I eventually had to leave Ghana, I had just like 2 weeks, a 2-week window. And if you don't know, I have businesses. I have a logistic business. I have affordable luxuries that most of you guys know about. I also have tassels, which I started briefly before I left Ghana. And I also have a printing press, which is still operating. I needed time to introduce my mom and my brother to, how to run, and other people who are still running my business in my absence, how to properly do these things. How to do a lot of trial runs in order to have an idea of how things will be in my absence and what I should correct. I even had to get some people phones, teach them how to use certain things, a lot of things that I wouldn't have had time to attend. So all these things gave me time to properly deal with these issues. So when I eventually had to actually come to the UK, I didn't have to do them anymore. What if the things you are going through right now is to prepare you for other people have reached out, telling me how they felt encouraged, whether it's true or a lie. It still did something to someone, and that's my sole purpose for these videos. These prophecies came to confirm things that I had already prayed to God about. They were not the reasons. The prophecy in itself is not the reason why I took such big and huge decisions. While I was in Sierra Leone, I had even new business ideas, which later made me even more money. So yes, maybe I thought that I went there to apply for my visa and everything, but all these things also later played a role. So I made money when I came back to Ghana. So eventually I got married and we came to the UK, because I realized that the last time I ended my story about how I got UK visa, not to the US. The US visa in London is similar to Ghana. It's a long queue, very, very long queue outside. And the appointments, you go, you do this, so you do your biometric, then you go and take your photos, then you finally get to the interview. And they asked us what we're going to do. So we just said, oh, we had to rush out. Like we didn't have a proper honeymoon in Ghana. So we want to go to the US just for a few days if possible. And that was how they gave us 5 years. 5 years. That was the first visa that we applied to the US. And that's just to say that when God's time is right, it all makes sense. All the pain that you've gone through will begin to make sense for you. And I'm telling you that it took a very, very long time for us to do it finally. Because we just wanted to try and see, just to prove that we can get it. And just for this video, because I'm talking about traveling, I've been able to travel to Malta, gone to Spain, France, Nigeria, Togo, Sierra Leone, and the US. So when God's time is the best, and the UK obviously, it makes sense. So all the things that those prophets saw, it wasn't a lie. It was something they actually saw and they said. So, but I put in a lot of prayer and I took bold steps to do what I believe that God was leading me to. And in all of this, I prayed through everything. I prayed every step of the way. So yes, while I was praying every step of the way, things did not magically work out. But the things worked out eventually concerning that particular prophecy at the time. Absolutely. So this is just to encourage someone that trust in the Lord with all your heart. And God is a wise God. He says that He knows the number of hairs even on your hair. How much more the country He wants you to live in? How much more the country you want to live in? How much more the school you want to pursue? How much more? Because He says that even the sparrow and the cocoa in the field, they don't even do any work. They don't labor nor spin. But the God in heaven, He cares about them. He cares about the flowers that are here today and thrown away tomorrow. If He dresses the lilies, in beauty and splendor, how much more will He clothe you? How much more will He love you? And if He dresses the children, if He watches over every response, how much more than you ask, think, or imagine? According to, please subscribe if you've not subscribed already. I have a lot more stories, and if there's anything in particular you'd like me to talk about, I'll be very excited too. Have a great day, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.